Republican leader of the United States House of Representatives.
I want to thank you. That was beautiful. What an amazing sculpture. The photo doesn't do it justice. And I'll be honest. Prior to knowing about today, I did not know the story. I will never think again of the change in America for human rights and civil rights. When I think of Martin Luther King, I also think of Chief Standing Bear. It is a story that will be told to millions. There's a lot of places to put a statue in this building, but I will tell you, this is the most prominent location. When the bells ring and the members walk and the tours are given, this is where they come. And they'll read the story of the governor so eloquently told. When I first read about the story and the language that he used, you can only imagine in the time, standing in a court, the fear he might have, but the courage he instilled just because of his son. That he spoke before the judge, and when he said those words, and I love the way Benjamin did this, he put his hand out, and you could picture that day. His hand is not the color of yours, but if I prick it, the blood will flow, and I shall feel pain. The blood is of the same color as yours. God made me, and I am a man. Chief Standing Bear was speaking of the language of America. He was not fighting for special privilege. Instead, he asked that he be afforded his rights as a human being, the same rights others enjoy. Whose words does that remind you of? Does it remind you of Martin Luther King? Does it remind you of Pericles? Because Pericles once said, "What you leave behind is what is not engraved in monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others." Clearly, Chief Standing Bear impacted the lives of many in our own time. But because of Benjamin Victor, he will also impact the lives of many in our time. Benjamin has not been introduced today, but Benjamin sits right over here. He is a special man. He's created, this is his third statue that sits in this hall. He was the youngest sculptor to ever have one, and he's the only living sculptor with the most. He has a unique ability to capture things that we only dream to imagine, to tell the story. Because as you walk through here, and as the tours are given, I promise you, you will stop here. Because you will look at that hand, you'll look at that face, you'll look at that skin tone and wonder, why does he sit in this hall? What is the story behind Chief Standing Bear? I think he reflected it greatly in the work you've done. The reason I know of Benjamin is because he grew up in Bakersfield, California, where I represent. He went to Foothill High School. He has the largest bronze statue that stands in America today, reflecting the men and women of the oil fields of the earliest 20th century. There was another famous thing that happened on this very day, on September 18th, 1793, 226 years ago today. You know what took place? They laid the cornerstone, George Washington did, for this very building. It was our founding fathers. And with this statue of Chief Standing Bear, we are building on their solid foundation. We definitely are forming a more perfect union. I thank you.